What is up, guys? Fragrance Guy here to do a Q&A because you guys wanted to see a Q&A really bad. Even though my channel is so new, you guys are amazing people. Thank you all. But let's just get started or straight into this first question by what's that smell? Thank you so much for the nice comments. And the question is, are there any fragrances that you smell everywhere? Has your nose improved since you first got into fragrances, and your least favorite fragrances? So for me, honestly, there really aren't that many fragrances that I smell everywhere because I live in Texas. Really, the only places that you're gonna smell fragrances all the time is probably like places like Miami or New York, LA, Milan, Paris, like huge hotspots of the world. Because really, what's surprising is that probably I would honestly say at least 50%, if not more, of men don't wear cologne. And if they do wear cologne, then it's just random stuff. It's not deliberate. So, but the one fragrance that I have smelled the most that I can recall is Acqua di Gio Profondo, which is the one in the blue bottle. First of all, it is actually a very beautiful fragrance. It's a great scent. I'm not complaining at all, but there are 4 occasions where I can smell it on somebody and they've told me then that's the cologne that they're wearing, and they're all around my age. So really great cologne though, nothing wrong with that one at all. It's definitely a good one, but that's the one I've smelled the most. Has my nose improved since you first got into fragrances? Definitely has improved. I can actually associate certain smells with notes now, so I think that's a pretty good thing. And my least favorite fragrances has to probably be fragrances that are just really too spicy, too dark, probably too oody. I'm not really a big fan of really oody fragrances, so that's what I would say for that. But thank you for that question. Next one is by Luminous Lucille. So happy to see the Q&A. I'd love to know which perfumes you like on women and to know a bit more about your taste in music and what musicians have influenced you. Great question. So as far as the perfumes that I like on women, definitely what I can recall is Billie Eilish's Number One. That is an amazing fragrance, actually. I love the smell of that. It's very elegant, very sweet, very nice. Love that fragrance, and just that fragrance profile in general is what I prefer on women. Very, very nice smelling. I even got it for my mom for Christmas one year because I thought it was great. And then as far as my taste in music, I definitely have a taste in classic rock, alternative rock, soft rock, indie rock, kind of really mostly rock. I mean, I listen to pretty much anything, but only here and there. But really, the bands that I listen to are Led Zeppelin, the Beatles, Pink Floyd, U2, Radiohead, Coldplay. Those are probably among my favorite bands. Some other ones there, but those are probably the main ones. And as far as a musician that has influenced me, I know for sure, is Jimmy Page. He's the lead guitarist for Led Zeppelin, and he's great at writing these amazing riffs, and he's just an amazing guitarist. He's definitely a top 5 guitarist of all time, and he's what inspired me to start playing guitar. All right, next question is by the Lady Cleo. Feels like a while since your last video is so facts, because it does honestly take me a while between videos, and that's honestly because the first grind that I'm on is the music. This is my secondary grind compared to making music for me, so that's why I don't put as much into it on the daily as I do some other things. And also, I'm not buying fragrances every day. Sometimes there might be a while where I just don't buy a fragrance. So that's probably why it takes me a while, but just to let you guys know. And then the question is, have you ever experienced amusing or awkward responses to the fragrances you wear? And have you yourself ever had humorous or embarrassing reactions to fragrances worn by others? Great question. Somehow, I have not gotten any bad reactions from anybody with my fragrances, which is surprising because I do wear fragrances every day, and obviously there's going to be some people that might think a certain fragrance is overwhelming, or they just hate the scent of it because it's not like everyone is like me. So I'm surprised that that hasn't happened. No one has at least clearly told me like, hey, that fragrance smells like crap. What are you wearing? Um, I've never fallen into the rookie mistake of spraying arrows 15 times. So I've never had something like that happen. And for the most part, I wear the right fragrance at the right occasion. There are some times where I've worn arrows at school, for example, but of course I know not to overspray it. So either way, and I've gotten compliments with arrows at school, even though, it might be, for a lot of people too strong and they only wear it like to clubs and stuff like that. But thankfully, I haven't had anything like that. And same with reactions to other fragrances. Again, I don't think I smell fragrances enough to have bad reactions. Yeah, I've never had a bad reaction to a fragrance myself either. So I think that's a W. But yeah, thank you for that question. All right, next question is by usually former, sorry, user formerly known as T. Nice one. Outside of colognes, what's the worst smell you've experienced? Are there any weird smells you really like? For this, that is going to for sure be fish. I really hate the smell of fish, which is surprising because I also don't like fish because I am Italian and my family is from Napoli, which is like the seafood center of the world. Like literally the best seafood in Italy and probably the best seafood in the world arguably can be found in Napoli because the sea is right there. It's amazing product, but again, I just don't like fish. I hate the smell, I hate the texture, I hate the taste, I hate everything about it. So that's got to be that. And then, are there any weird smells you like? I do like weird smells that probably a lot of other people like gasoline, for example. That's probably a weird smell that a lot of people like or dislike, but gasoline for some reason is a really nice smell. And then also, like when it comes to food, there's smells I love. Like I love the smell of Parmesan. I love the smell of a nice tomato sauce, of course. I love the smell of prosciutto, which is like an Italian deli meat. So, there's also specific Italian food that I love the smell of course, because my mom cooks it and it's amazing. So, thank you for that. All right, next question is from Joe Green 5564. Cracking review. So, I'd like to ask about any tips you have for people starting out with the musical instrument. If you come up with your own fragrance, what would it smell like? Great question. All right. So starting out with the musical instrument, my advice is to start as soon as possible. Just pick it up. Like let's say you want to learn guitar. Obviously the first step is buying one, but once you have a guitar in your hand, start playing it. Start looking up YouTube videos. Just start. Don't even wait too long to try and analyze things. Start as soon as possible. And then also the way I did it is I started with guitar lessons at Guitar Center. It was good, to get my foot in the door. Did that for a little bit, probably a year or two, and then I took guitar lessons privately with my worship pastor at my church. He's now the pastor, so that's why he stopped. He wasn't able to give me lessons anymore because he's busy coming up with sermons every week and, of course, doing other stuff. But he was really good, and the best thing I got from him is that he really dialed down to make sure I got the basics and like stuff like scales and just key concepts that apply to music as well. And so after that, I just started learning on my own, and that really skyrocketed my progress. And I think that's the way to do it. You get formal training from, a good teacher, and then you start learning on your own once you have that good base knowledge, and you can just have a lot of fun with it. So that's what I would suggest. And if I came up with my own fragrance, what would it smell like? That's a great question. I've obviously thought about, making a fragrance because it just would be super cool. I know the profile would probably be like a blue kind of fragrance. Like definitely would be a versatile fragrance. And I'd probably have like a lot of like notes that I like, of course. Like I'd probably, for a lot of fruit, like I like pineapple, like I'd probably have it smell like pineapple or green apple. Those are really good fruit smells and fragrances. And then I know I'd probably have amber and sandalwood because those are amazing fragrance notes. But yeah. All right, next question is by the user Liam-GD4QI. And also, I respect the Adam Parsons Project profile picture. Anyway, the question is, let's say you come home and catch a whiff of a funny smell. How would you react? Would you need to find it, or would you just try and cover it up? If you can't find it and the smell gets worse, how would you go about locating the source? How much would it annoy you? Any good stories about you having to sniff around for the source of a strange smell? Cheers. So, if there was a strange, smell, like, if it was like smoke or something, yeah, I'd definitely be on high alert. Like, I'd make sure the house isn't burning down, and I'd obviously smell around, and I'd probably try to figure out, where the smell is the strongest. But realistically, if it's smoke, also you have visual cues and audio cues. So, also, like, let's say my mom is cooking something that smells weird that I've never smelled before. I would probably also know that because I would have the audio cue of the oven probably, or like the stove or whatever. But either way, I would use smell, and I'd probably use other senses to figure it out. Now, would it bother me? Depends on the smell. Like, but at the end of the day, like, for example, the smell of fish, I'll use that example because my mom cooks fish a lot because her and my dad love those dishes, even though I hate it. Like, they still are going to cook it. And the smell definitely sucks. It definitely annoys me. But, after 30 minutes, it goes away. Also, I've learned to deal with it. But for those of you who don't know, your nose goes nose blind after about 15 to 30 minutes. Even if it's a good smell, even if it's a good fragrance smell, your nose is gonna go nose blind to it because it's your brain telling your nose to stop smelling that smell. It's literally just because if you were to smell any smell for too long, even if it's a good one, it might distract you from your daily tasks and what you're trying to do. So your brain automatically shuts off certain smells, whether they're good or bad. So at the end of the day, no matter what, it's going to go away eventually. But depending on the smell, it might bother me a lot. Who knows? But thank you for that question. And the last question is going to be from Jane the Jubilant. Question is, are there any fragrances or fragrance notes which negatively impact you, like make you sneeze or tickle your nose? And what kinds of films do you like? Can't wait for your answer, Vid. That is a great question. So, fragrances slash fragrance notes that I really don't like is really, really, like, again, as I said earlier in this video, really spicy stuff that's like unnecessarily spicy. Like a fragrance like Versace Dylan Blue, I love that fragrance, but it'll still make me sneeze every once in a while. So, I can only imagine how bad it would be like with like a fragrance like Oud for Greatness, for example, or something like that. And again, as I said, Oud is also a note that I'm not sure if I'm a big fan of, but also, oud sometimes can be done right or done wrong. So maybe I haven't smelled a fragrance that really does oud right yet. And then the kinds of films that I like. I love really, classic films a lot. I think I prefer classic films over modern films, that's for sure. But huge into Martin Scorsese. He's one of my favorite directors. He probably is my favorite director because the amount of bangers that he's made. I mean, Casino is a great movie. Goodfellas is an amazing movie. The Godfather movies are amazing. That's not Martin Scorsese, but those are obviously great movies. Raging Bull is an amazing movie. Another movie that I really love is Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. That's an amazing movie. Beautifully shot, beautiful scenes, great actors, Robert Redford and Paul Newman. So yeah, I really like classic films. That is for sure. And also, it is funny how a lot of these films are, to do with Italians. But again, like, these movies are just amazing. Like, Goodfellas is genuinely one of the greatest movies ever. It's amazing. Oh yeah, also Wolf of Wall Street, another amazing banger of a movie. So yeah, like, I would say Martin Scorsese is just an absolute goat. And I like retro films more than modern films because they're just cooler. They have more impact. They're just better. I don't know. Probably the best modern movies that I remember watching recently are the new Batman movie. That honestly was a really good movie. I know people probably have mixed reviews. I do also love the Dark Knight trilogy of films. Those are also great films. The Dark Knight is definitely the best one, though. And then also Oppenheimer is probably the best modern movie that I've watched recently. Oppenheimer really is a good movie. And yeah, that's what I would say about that. But Either way, thank you guys for the amazing questions. I'm glad to have answered them. You guys know a little bit more about me now. Hopefully I'll have a video coming out soon. I think I have 2 fragrances that I haven't made a video about yet. One I'm waiting to arrive, one I do have, but honestly it's just not a good season for this fragrance right now. But yeah, either way, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thank you.